Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. Okay, thank you for confirming the audibility. Let me display the PowerPoint presentation. Asian Session Live Market Analysis on a fresh week, June 28th, between 5 and 5:30 GMT. So we will review how exactly in this particular week the market is expected to behave. So before that, let me give the live market quote page link, and you can open it in a browser. I'll focus the camera over that of the live market quote page, and you can view the current levels of the majors and the commodity pairs, and also the cross, and also the respective GMT time. And we will try to read the market and try to identify what is the intention of the player in the days to come, or at least for the sessions to follow. Now, Euro is currently trading around 1.238183. The low is 1.2369, which was set initially during the start of the Japanese session. Then 1.2396 is the high. Net change is 15 pips positive now. So from that of the Friday close, Euro is trading around 15 pips higher. That is what it refers to, the net change. Then in the case of GBP, 1.5050, 1.5054 are the current levels. 1.5033 is the low. 1.5070 is the high. The net change is 3 pips positive. Probably about 30 minutes back, you would have seen a nominal negative net change was shown in the case of GBP, and it came closer to that of the low, 1.5033, and without cutting the low, it has firmed up. And you would have seen just before the start of the webinar, 1.5067 was shown in GBP as in the bid side. So they intend to firm up. So they have shown it twice. So that shows that they intend to firm up GBP. Now in the case of USD-Yen, 89.41, 89.44 are the current levels. 89.25 is the low, 89.44 is the high. Earlier 89.42 was the high. They breached the high. The net change is 18 pips positive. So when Euro, GBP and USD-Yen are showing positive net change, you find that they intend to make the contrarian move. Now we are able to identify whether they are going to do a contrarian move on the upside or the downside by looking into that of the commodity pairs, because they lead the rally and lag behind later on. So in the case of USD CAD, 1.0355, 1.0360 are the current level. 1.0333 is the low, 1.0369 is the high. Net change is 5 pips positive. In the case of Australian dollar, 0.8753, 0.8756 are the current levels. 0.8722 is the low, 0.87775 is the high. Net change is 16 pips positive. So when USD CAD as well as the Australian dollar are showing a positive net change, that means it is a contrarian move. USD CAD is making the USD gaining move, and Australian dollar is making USD weakening move. This is referred as a contrarian move. When they show the contrarian move on the upside, then also in the case of Euro, GBP, Yen, the upside contrarian move is seen. So what they intend to do, they want to gain the levels in the case of the numerator as well as the denominator currencies as a contrarian move. As a result, the crosses are expected to gain the levels. So this is what you identify now. And in the case of Euro, it is positive 12 pips, and in the case of GBP, it is almost flat now. So you find Euro GBP is making a nominal gain. So they could gain the levels to 0.8250 or so, and then subsequently drop. So Euro GBP, they intend to gain to start with, and subsequently they want to drop. In the case of Euro and CHF, Euro is showing 12 pips positive net change, and CHF is showing 3 pips negative net change. When Euro is showing 11 pips or 12 pips positive net change, CHF should be showing about 14 to 15 pips negative net change. Instead, it's showing only 1 pip negative net change, So as a result, you find Euro CHF is having a nominal dip and it is showing a current level of 1.3526, 1.3529, 1.35057 is the low and 1.3536 is the high. So negative net change is shown as a nominal dip in order to gain the levels again. So don't think that they will continue with the same sentiment that continue to drop Euro CHF. They have made that extended downward stop, and in the case of Euro CHF last week, they are expected to gallop the levels and gain the levels. Before doing it, they are making a brief small false move. And similarly, in the case of Euro GBP, a brief upward false move is seen for the week beginning. Then in the case of the yen crosses, as we have seen that Euro GBP and USD yen are showing positive net change. So Euro yen and GBBN both are showing the positive net change of 31 pips and 27 pips respectively. So when they are near the low, one can buy because they tend to make a contrary move and bring in a double edge effect in the case of yen crosses. What is double edge effect? That is gaining the levels in the case of euro, say for example 12 pips, and gaining the levels of in USD yen 17 pips. As a result, you will come across approximately a cumulative rise of about 15 plus 17. So it is around 30 pips gain is seen. If we calculate the exact ratios, then it will come to 30 pips or 28 pips. But roughly you can understand that they wanted to bring in double, adding the pip change approximately around the same level. They will be gaining the levels in the case of Euro yen. And GBBN also similarly you find that they gained about 25 pips by showing a nominal dip of 1 pip or almost flat in the case of GBP and 18 pips in the case of USD, and as a result you find about 25 pips gain is seen in the case of GBBN. So this is how you find that they initially make the contrarian move in order to establish the levels or making a brief downward or an upward stop in the crosses, and subsequently they concentrate on the majors during the day. To start with, they're focused on that of the majors and establish the high and the lows, and subsequently they are in the mid session concentrating on the crosses, trying to hit the stops and trying to just induce the traders to take wrong positions, and then subsequently they enter to make the moves. And what are the type of moves we could see today? Just let me focus the camera over that of the Lima, the PowerPoint presentation. The expected moves for today. Japanese session swing and form up moves are expected. So nominally they are expected to gain the levels in the case of Euro GBP as well as USD yen. Then in the case during the European session, they are expected to swing and quickly rise from that of the mid European session. And there could be an upward spike or at least the quick rise seen during that of the European session. During the US session, they could make a higher level swing and firm up further. And you have to keep in mind, this is the week from 28th of June till 30th, then 1st and 2nd of July fall in this particular week, Monday to Friday. So you will come across more aggressive moves with regard to that of the players. So you would have seen that normally they bring in the monthly trend reversal moves. But this time, what they are expected to do is they have been doing prolonged lower level consolidation with a downward stop, and they are expected to aggressively gain the levels from this time onwards. And so you have seen on Friday they have slowly firmed up till the end of the US session, indicating any level selling they were willing to absorb. That means what they wanted to gain the levels and book profit with regard to the sells what they have absorbed from the other market. So who will come first and absorb or do the short covering? Obviously the short sellers at the higher level. During the rise, people tend to do the short selling, and later on they could come for the short covering first, or they will initially make an average sell, and subsequently when both the positions are making loss, then they will try to come for the short covering. That sort of strategy the players try to induce to the traders, and we could see good amount of gain during this particular week and also in the coming month. So let us observe the initial lows and the highs set for today and how exactly the market is expected to behave. 1.2369 is the low in the case of euro, which is intact, and 1.2396 is the high, which is also intact. Then you might be aware, those who are following it up with regard to the initial lows and the highs, last week on Monday, the low was 1.2369 in the case of euro, and subsequently they made the drop during the Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., in inducing the traders to liquidate the long position and again come up to that of 1.23 and above, and today they set the low as 1.2369. So from here what they are expected to do? From here they are expected to take the level to that of 1.2484. That was the initial high on Monday. That was intact, 1.2484. And that was not breached throughout last week. And this week, today itself, they are expected to breach that particular level. In the case of GBP, you come across a new level, 1.50. And after breaching 1.50, it is staying above that comfortably, and as I explained, around 1.50, the psychological level, a lot of people would have taken the sell position, at least book profit with regard to the lower level long position. But the players they intend to rise the levels more. That is why they have absorbed all the selling in that particular area. 1.5070 is the high, which is also intact. They are making a nominal swing now, just a little bit of firming up, a little bit of dip and things like that, inducing the traders to commit positions. And later on, they are expected to take up. Then in the case of USDT, so 1.089 is low, which is intact. 1.0939 is the high, which is also intact. And this shows that the negative net change of 3 pips shows that we want to dip less and gain more in the case of USD CHF. Don't try to do sell and buy trades in the case of USD CHF. That might be more risky. If you are having the risk appetite, probably you can try that. But otherwise, if you want to do safe trades, then avoid taking sell in any of the currency pairs. Then in the case of USD Yen, 89.25 is the low, 89.42 was the high. They cut the high and formed a new high, 89.44. They signaled that they wanted to gain the levels in the case of USD Yen. So one could take the buy position in the case of USD Yen with the stop. Obviously, 30-40 pips below, you should keep the stop to limit the risk. Then in the case of Australian dollar, 0.8722 is the low, which is intact. 0.8775 is the high, which is also intact. So you find a nominal swings in the case of Euro, GBP, Australian dollar, the numerator currencies, and they are expected to slowly gain the levels to some extent, and then subsequently you will find a significant rise happening during that of the mid-European session. Then in the case of Australian Canadian dollar, 1.0333 is the low, which is intact. 1.0369 is the high, which is also intact. And the net change is 6 pips positive, so it indicates that less drop and more gains are expected in the case of USD CAD. So these are all the expected market moves. I have shown with regard to the type of expected moves from that of the forecast. There is swing and firm up move during the Japanese session, swing and rise during that of the, could be a spike also during the European session, and US session, swing and firm up move, slow gains again similar to the Friday move will be seen. Then we are also confirmed with the help of the market reading, comparing the initial lows and the highs to that of the current market levels, we are able to ascertain that they wanted to gain the levels in all currency pairs by making contrarian moves. So let me minimize the PowerPoint presentation and focus the camera over that of the live market fourth page and take up the questions which are asked here and answer to the questions wherever possible. Then Francisco, do you think the reversal has happened in Euro and GBP? That is, can traders start to do buy on dips rather than sell on right? Yes. Still on strength? Yes. Obviously, it is the time to do the buy and sell trades and buy near that of the low or during a downward stop. And this I was telling even last week, people can initiate position trades. If you remember correctly, we'll be able to understand that. So we have to foresee how exactly they intend to make that moves. And I was giving a very clear indications to those who are following me that they accumulated lower level buys, and those lower level buys, they are expected to gain at least about 600 to 900 pips or 1200 pips in order to book profit with those lower level buys. And see, if they simply wait after buying at a lower level, market cannot rise on its own. So obviously they have to buy at a higher level and try to book profit. Buy at a higher level and try to book profit. Still, the lower level buys will be intact. Then finally, after gaining the level, and if they simply do that buy and book profit, obviously the traders will also try to do it. Nobody will do the short selling. So if nobody is doing short selling, there is no point in rising, because when they rise next step, then all will be willing to book profit rather than doing a short covering. So obviously they have to trap or create the market sentiment. The market could drop or probably induce that technical analyst to say that the market is still intact, it is bearish and it is going to drop. Then only the traders will hesitate taking a higher level buy, and also they will try to take a sell position. And once that is achieved, then you find that the short covering comes first, then subsequently the breakout traders come in. Then later on, the players gain the levels very aggressively and see that everybody started selling. So that is how it happened earlier when euro was around 1.42 year for last year, and it was around 1.42 and it was consolidating there. People said that no, euro cannot go beyond that technically or fundamentally. Then all started selling and they took it up to 1.60. So that is how you will come across, irrespective of the data. Irrespective of the data, they will continue to gain the levels, and after every data, they will give different type of interpretation and continue to gain the levels and just fool the traders. And all along, you think that when there is a negative data from US, there should be a risk aversion. So normal tendency of the analyst to say that euro and GBP will fall as well as USD will fall. Okay. Now on Friday, you would have seen that euro and GBP went up, whereas USD fell down. So that was total USD weakening move. So this is how they alternate. The players alternate the moves, and the technical analyst will simply switch over to another type of explanation. Instead of telling USD risk aversion, risk appetite, they will simply say that USD gaining move, USD weakening move. So this is how they are all nothing but the postmortem or a comment with regard to what had happened in the market. But that does not give what could be the next move in the market. That is why I always tell the traders, don't be moved with such comments. And you can always read those comments. I have no objections for that. And you can read and understand how the people view the market. And ultimately, you have to use your own ability of judgment and try to trade in the market. San Francisco. The risk to be trapped by the players by buying at these levels is still high. You know that we do not simply follow the forecast alone. We also use the trading strategy, and we limit the risk by using the hedging order or try to use the stop. So obviously, whether you buy it at 1.1877, the lowest level, and hardly anybody would have bought at those levels, because we feel when it is around 1.2377 that let it drop to 1.2250, a strong support, then let me buy. But when it comes to 1.2250, probably I wanted to confirm whether it is a buy level or a sell level. So this is how the uncertainty will prevail among the minds of the traders. So that is inevitable as long as you are not able to do your own analysis. When you start doing your own analysis, you will find, okay, when it was around 1.2380, I thought that 1.2052250 is a good buy level. So when it comes to that particular level, why do I hesitate? If you question, then how long they can drop? That is one question. Then second important thing is whether I do buy at 1.2280 or 1.2380, I am only taking a risk of 30 pips, keep a stop of 30 pips. Fine. And whether you do all type of analysis and keep stop, or whether you don't do any analysis and keep stop, there is no guarantee that your stop will not be filled. Okay. So we are cheating ourselves by doing this sort of relative comparison. We are just trigger the fear among ourselves, and when we trigger the fear, how can the fear can be controlled? If the fear is created by somebody, then we can control. But we are creating the fear among ourselves, and obviously, where is the question of getting rid of that fear? Only when the market moves and shows that okay, your thinking was correct, then probably you get rid of the fear. So whenever there is a correction, if you become frightful or you become afraid of the market, then the market fear will never go out of your mind. And as long as the market fear is there, it is extremely difficult to trade in the market. Because when you are afraid of your enemy and you are in an arena to fight against that person, and if you are afraid of him, will you be able to win? Obviously, it is not. You have to develop the confidence that I should be able to win him. And only then that particular mental confidence will be able to give you the strength and activate you to do the right approach or use the right approach and try to win that opponent. And the right approach might be, the opponent might be strong enough or stronger than you, but still you can identify the weakness of the opponent and try to hit and try to earn out of that particular situation. Then Caesar. On Friday, your webinar on tracking the market was a real insight. Okay, thanks for that. Can you be kind enough to have more such sessions? Now, I've been giving every month and it is being recorded and it is being displayed in FX Trade under the headline Archives under live or transcript. So obviously, if you go through that, what are the calls I have given, how exactly they mature, even you can go to that of the earlier months and things like that. See, on a daily basis, I am giving the Asian session live market analysis, doing the analysis, and on a monthly basis, I am explaining about the strategies. So if you combine all those things, you should be able to develop your own insight, how exactly you can participate in the market. Rather than I am repeating the tracking the forex market with a webinar on a weekly basis, because if I continue to do that, that means you need more exercise, and for that you want me an instrument. But instead, you listen to that webinar on a weekly basis, being recorded, and just recollect and habituate to that particular style of trading. And if you find it is worthwhile, then subsequently you will be able to master this game. So the basic purpose of recording the webinars is for the future use. And also you can just find out how far the calls matured and things like that. You yourself can do their analysis. There is no need for me to display the results, etc. Because I am not here to convince anybody that I am a great trader and things like that. That is not my objective. I want the small traders who cannot afford to pay for any sort of subscriptions still to make money from that other market, because all of us come with a clear objective of making money from that other market. Okay, I got about $5,000 as usable margin. Let me make about $500 or $1,000. That is the basic objective of any trader who is entering into the market. But in the process, they become trapped and lose the account and subsequently open another account and become addicted to trading without realizing that they have cheated themselves. And the hard-earned money is being lost in the market because they are not used their common sense. So I want everybody to use their common sense to start with. That is vital. And any decision making, first of all, you have to simplify the particular problem, and then you will be able to find a solution. If you try to make the problem more and more complicated and trying to establish more and more wings for that particular problem, it is very difficult to find a solution for it. So you have to simplify the problem as much as possible. Then you should be able to logically think and find a mean to come out of that particular problem. So this is not only with regard to trading, with regard to any problem we face in life. Because as long as we are human, we are bound to face such problems in our life. Not only in the market, even in our life and every circumstance. We might be expecting something, some unexpected might happen, and we should not become fatigued or we should not become tired of such problems. And sometimes you might find that summation of the problems will come one after another and you may not be able to solve them. And if you think only about the problem and become sad about it, you will not be able to really get activated and try to overcome such problems. These problems are man-made, so men should be able to give a solution for it. If you think of luck and if you think of God, God can help only through means. He cannot directly descend and try to help people. He only helps through means. So probably He has sent me to help small traders, and you have been sent to help somebody else. That is how the manifestation is. We have to understand that and try to make use of it and try to use the common sense and also simplify our lifestyle and try to see that we are able to focus on the objective and earn money from that other market and get out of that and try to put in hard work and try to earn more money by converting your efforts into money rather than simply trying to expect the money to multiply. That that may trigger you to become lazy and not able to use your common sense and thinking ability. Is it wise to do buy and sell trade in coming days? Yes, Arun. Then see your input on gold. What are the levels to which? So gold is making a higher level consolidation, and probably you would have noticed that about 15-20 days back, and everybody was telling that gold, whenever there is a risk aversion, gold will go up. But last week I have seen that there was a risk appetite. Euro and GBP went up according to their terminology, but gold also went up. So ultimately, you have to understand that depending upon the traders' positions, the players act on those currencies or with regard to that of the commodity pairs and not based on the overall sentiment created. And the sentiments are created to fool us. And gold, they are just held high because of short covering on Friday, and they are expected to drop in these 3 days of this particular month. And suddenly they will drop and people will say that it is profit booking, again it could go up, but they will simply drop and go to the lower levels to handle the options and futures expiry time. So, Eric, do you expect JBP to rise more than Euro? Yes, I am expecting JBP to gain more, but every time, JBP is a currency which is used to create the market sentiment, and keep that in mind. So, don't simply jump into that of the market when it is gaining levels. So, whenever there is a correction and whenever the new low or the current low is not being breached for more than 30 minutes of our observation, then try to enter into the market. And you should be able to maximize the profit. Do you expect false move today? Because it's a month end, week. So you'll come across more and more volatile move. But I'm expecting the continuation of the trend during the next month. So it will be more of an aggressive move rather than volatile move. Hope you are able to understand the continuation of the trend for more than 2 months, more than a month. You'll come across quick aggressive moves. Then PIP firm. Will Australian dollar go up during this European session? Yes, it is expected to go up. Then PIP variation or how much of gains you have to estimate depending upon the velocity and the momentum of this currency pair. You have to estimate it. And if you watch the live market report page continuously or with the frequent intervals, avoid looking into that of the chart. You will be able to judge, okay, in this particular move, they will be able to gain about 15 pips. in this particular momentum they will be able to gain about 30 pips, or in this particular momentum, the last session of the day, they could gain about 100 pips. You should be able to easily judge it. It's not difficult at all. But only thing is you are not focusing. So without focus, you will not be able to achieve things in life. Otherwise, see, the idle brain is devil's workshop, you know very well. Then when you are not focusing and when you are not educating yourself by uh, the market moves, obviously you will try to find out who is the best analyst and things like that. Nobody has asked you to find who is the best. Has anybody asked you to find out who is the best analyst in the world? No, not at all. But you try to assume that you are that person, you are the right person to assume who is the best analyst in the world. That sort of assumptions happen because of the failure in you. And you have to find out, no, I should become the best analyst in the world. That should be the inner urge. Then obviously you will not be wasting your time in just giving comments about others, rather than you focus on your objective of earning money from the market. Then, do you expect we could see again 1.47 area? Arun, it appears that you are asking for 10 into GBP. No, I am not expecting that. That is my expectation. It can be true or it cannot be true, and you cannot just blindly go with that and say that no, I was wrong and spend all your time in commenting about it. QP. Do players directly buy sell crosses when handling them? Yeah, obviously they have to make the buys and the sells. They have to do the circular trades. Only then the market will make the moves. So they participate in all currency pairs. They are the one operating all the currency pairs, and there is a consortium, and it is a syndicate or a group of people who act as operators. So obviously they are situated in different parts of the world and that continue to play around, and also they handle not only the crosses, even the regional currencies they play, and they participate in that against the respective governments. In paper. What do you think about Euro GBP tonight? Euro GBP is expected to gain the levels to some extent around 80 to 50 or 80 to 60. Then quickly it is expected to drop. They will make an upward stop and above 80 to 36 and see how far they are doing an upward stop. Stop cutting the high for more than 30 minutes during any mid session. That is a high. Then grow. Do you think that the USDN will rise above 90? Today it's expected to gain above 90 and more. Then grow. Do the currencies usually return to the lows before they rise? So you could set a buy around the price in European session. There will be swings in the market, and it all depends, as I explained many times. There is no guarantee that they have to necessarily make a drop. And if they are trapped with the short sellers and the short sellers are not willing to do the short covering, instead they started selling further as an average. Where is the necessity for the players to drop it? Understand it? They have got a golden goose, then they can simply rise the market and induce more panic for the over traders, and they will come in a hurry for short covering. Instead, why to drop and give profit to them? They create the market sentiment and act against that of the traders. You have to understand that principle. They are very, very focused with regard to their principles. And because of that, consistently they are able to earn money and distribute. So, it is extremely difficult for us to change so quickly the mindset from bearish to bullish. And they know very well. So, it is easy to trap the emotional traders. So what is the first priority of a trader? He should control his emotion, not to become a victim for any bearish field created in the market or a bullish field created in the market. Then you will become successful. And if they create, then you just laugh at them and say, okay, you create for yourself. Why you are disturbing me? That sort of question you should have in your mind. Then you will be undisturbed. You will never become panic. And you will get rid of the market fear. You will be able to really earn and balanced. When you plan for the week swing trades, When do you usually take your first trade for the week? I don't jump into the market just like that. And whenever they set the high and the low, I just observe it for the week beginning and see how exactly they are handling near that of the low, near that of the high. Okay, if I miss that opportunity of taking position, then I watch how exactly they are handling the high. Are they staying above that of the initial high for more than 30 minutes to over? Then I don't mind taking a high level buy. So or I don't mind taking a high level sell if they come to that of the high and not breach that. So market continue to give trading opportunity, either a buy and sell or a sell and buy trade, as long as they make swings in the market. So that is there is no hard and fast rule that you have to do only buy and sell trade. But why I am telling that avoid doing sell and buy trade? Because you can take a sell, but quickly you should be able to book profit after keeping stop at entry and try to book profit 30, 40 pips. If you fail to book profit, that particular position will be making loss. And see, it could be during the session change, during the gap time, they could make a drop, quick drop and the rise. You should be able to have the sharp mindset to grab the profit. And if you think that, okay, this is the high and afterwards, as per the channel, euro could go to 1.13 and things like that, then you will miss it out. You have to think of the current trade rather than assuming about the future, holding a present position. So we should be able to demarcate with regard to the logical derivation for the present from that of the imagination. Yeah, I'll show the forecast slide. How will GBP behave today? GBP expected to is showing a negative net change 0.0000. Probably they may make a brief downward stop and may not breach 1.50 and then quickly gain the level. That brief downward stop could be just to make an upward stop in the case of Euro GBP before making a drop, because they have to handle by handling GBP, they should be able to get benefit another GBP cross. Only then they will make such moves. Then do you see Euro over the next 2 months around 1.30 or GBP around 1.54? Yeah, the great potency is seen. But let me give more specific levels probably once they set the trend, because I do not want to give the long term level and give you a mental block and you forget about the present trade and simply hold the loss making position. I do not want the small trade, because my objective is to help the small traders. At the end, the small traders should not lose. That is why I stopped giving the levels here, the long-term levels, for the simple reason I do not want the small traders to lose their hard-earned money. Can you do a webinar just about psychology of trading? Yeah, I have done several such webinars in the beginning and also with regard to market moves, etc. And they are all in the form of scripts. Probably if you go the page which is created under Dr. Sivaraman in FX Street, you will come across the archives, the question and answer sessions, etc. Because I have been giving this sort of interactive sessions in FX Street from right from the inception, from 2001 onwards. I have been giving it, and they are all available there. And if it is a need for it, probably I recapitulate for the newcomers, so that probably I'll think about it and try to give step by step with regard to the market psychology, how the market sentiments are created, etc. and explain to you. At the time, the webinars were not there and they are not being recorded. Probably this time I'll see that instead of tracking the forex market, alternative month I'll try to give the webinars with regard to other aspects with regard to market sentiments, etc. and show you the examples. Then you will be able to understand and grow. Could you buy Euro GBP today and hold it for the week, as its low will not be returned to your point? Yeah, you can do it, provided you have got that mindset to keep stop at entry. See, Euro and GBP are expected to rise. It doesn't mean that straight away they will rise. They can make the swing. So we won't be knowing whether our entry is the right entry for that particular week to hold the position for the week. So in that case, we have to keep stop at entry. Once the position makes profit, then subsequently hold it. If they stopped out, that means obviously they wanted to show a little more lower levels. Then try to enter again, and once the position makes profit, and you cannot blindly enter, you have to see that that particular low has not been breached for more than 30 minutes. Then try to enter into the market. And if that particular position makes profit, keep stop at entry. Say last week, for example, 1.23 and 1.24 was shown. Somebody has taken a position at 1.23 and kept stop at entry. You would have been stopped out and it came to 1.2250. Then there you would have entered because the low was not cut and that is not being stopped out. You can keep stop at entry and make it as a 75 pips trailing stop. If you want to do the position trade, then obviously you will be able to maximize the profit and participate in booking profit for about 600 to 700 pips, etc. in single trades. And we can do it. And you know pretty well the market is making moves. And if you are focused with regard to swing trades, and when the going is good, then try to convert into a position trade. Don't focus on the position trade and say that no, I don't mind holding a loss making position. That is a wrong approach. Only focus on a swing trade. And if the going is good, try to convert into a position trade. That is how anybody should do. No, anybody will start a business and if the going is good, then he will go in for an expansion. In a loss making company, nobody will go in for an expansion. And they will just shrink themselves in order to curtail the overheads. So the same logic applies here. Then what do you think about GBPI explained? Then Leo, life is not menstruate for the breath we take, but by the moment that take our breath away. Okay. Then what does it mean when they just stay at one level to such a long time since we were waiting? Okay, that means a nominal volume is seen in the market and the quotes have become black. That means they don't find adequate volume from the traders, so obviously they do not want to simply do circular trades among themselves and they will try to hold it. Then you find frequently the quotes become black. So in the live market quote page only you will be able to really appreciate this. Otherwise you will find in the 15 minutes candle or 30 minutes candle, the candle will be very, very small. Then immediately we think that there could be a reverse and things like that. No, not at all. When the volume is reduced, obviously they will show a small swing. And that small swing, we should be able to differentiate by looking into that of the color changes. And also in the live market quote page, you will come across the higher bid and the higher ask and this sort of signals. Then you can understand, okay, if they show it for 3 times, okay, they are going to make a definite rise in GBP, you take a buy. So it's very easy to take a decisions with regard to by watching the live market quote page rather than complicating our study. Then how analyze volume in the market in any given time frame? Okay, so there is no necessity to estimate the absolute volume. I can just estimate the volume in terms of relativity. Okay, during the start of the session, so let the volume be S. Then after some time, the spread between the swing is getting reduced. So they are made about initially 55 swing between up and down, and slowly the momentum has come down. It has come to about 15 pips, then 5 pips, 2 pips, 1 pip. Then the quote page becomes black. That means they are not interested in making small swings also. That means what? The traders' positions are not seen, only their orders are there in the interbank treasury. Obviously, how long they can do the swing, how long they can do the circling trade among themselves. So obviously they have to attract the traders. Then they make a little increase the swing by 10 pips, 15 pips. So when you find the intermediary swing pips, you should be able to estimate the volume, whether it is x minus 1 or x plus 1 and things like that. So absolute volume is not a necessity. And also keep in mind 2/3 of the volume of the market is of the players because of the circular trades. Only 1/3 volume is of the traders, including the institutional traders. So obviously, including the currency conversions. Currency conversion trades happen around 1% or less than 1% of the total volume traded on a given day. And simply they say that China is buying all euro and things like that. They are all nothing but misguidance. That's what I can tell. Okay, Anurag. I mean, when volume is adequate to enter the market, that is what I said, that when the swing start getting the momentum, then obviously they will make a false move before making the intentional move. Then once they increase the spread, immediately don't jump into it. They will come closer to the other low. Without cutting the low, they will gain it. At that time, when they are coming closer to the other low, try to take a buy and keep a stop below the other low. They stop it out, fine, accept it. The next level they will show, and that could be a real buy level, you will be able to earn it. And if you become afraid because you are stopped out, then you are not in the market. And instead, I suggest that small traders can use hedging. So if it is hedged, you review both the positions, which one is making profit, and try to earn out of that as a net profit. Then Orlando. Do players create sentiments on a daily basis? Yes. In order to bring in intraday trend reversals, they have to continue to change the market sentiments from time to time. They coordinate a longer view of creating sentiments. So whenever they are making the lower level consolidation with the downward stop, they extend the sentiment for a prolonged period. And similarly, the higher level consolidation with an upward stop, and they extend the sentiments for a prolonged period. Otherwise, they try to create the market sentiment and act against the traders on a daily basis. Then, Anurag. Among the yen crosses, CHF yen will gain more than the others in time. It all depends upon the relativity of the traders' pending positions. So we cannot give the guarantee that this particular pair has to rise more, the other pair has to rise more, and things like that. And we have to watch the momentum from time to time. How they are handling near that of the low, how they are handling near that of the high. They are all very important for us to judge. And we have to continuously monitor that particular currency pair and also relate to that of the respective majors. So suppose you want to focus on CHF yen, then focus on CHF as well as yen. Both are denominator currencies. The net change in the case of yen is 16 pips. Positive net change is seen. CHF is having 1 pip positive net change. Okay. They are making a gaining move here in the case of yen as well as CHF. And only with regard to the variation with regard to the gaining, you will be able to come across the momentum in the case of CHF yen. So if both rise continuously, still CHF yen will not have much of an impact. So you try to choose a currency pair wherein a numerator and a denominator are there. Thereby, you will be able to see when they make such contrarian moves, aggressive gains will be seen. In the case of yen, CHF yen, there may not be much of an aggressive move. It is very similar to that of trading Euro GBP. Both are numerator currencies. Arun. Now players creating the bullish field, later they will opposite or they have the mind to traders to sell or rise. So we'll see during the day. As per my algorithm, they are expected to induce the traders to do the short selling and then subsequently trap. Anyway, do players always make a certain amount of positive and negative net change on a daily basis? No, there is no guarantee that it has to necessarily drop 150 pips and rise one. In an extraordinary day, they drop about 150 pips. In the same day, gain about 300 pips, so that you find positive as well as negative full impact of the net changes are seen in the case of euro, but not on a daily basis. There is no minimal net change and things like that. Once it becomes positive, it can continue to be positive throughout the day, or it can become positive and negative and then continue to be positive or continue to be negative. It all depends upon the trader's sentiment. What we try to identify is, okay, for example, they are making a particular currency pair negative net change and slowly it becomes positive net change and sustain in positive net change for more than 30 minutes. Then there is a scope for further rise in that currency. We can aim for a small swing trade in that. That is how we should make use of it. Then balance. CHF is the strongest currency to compare to the others. No, let us not compare and just attribute that this is the strongest currency because you know very well that earlier people were telling that Australian dollar is the strongest currency and everybody just developed the feel and enter long in that particular currency. Then what happened? They made a 700 pips drop and subsequently they gained again. So don't make a relative comparison of strongest and the weakest. That is of no use for us. We have to see whether we can do a buy and sell trade in that currency or a sell and buy trade in that currency. I think that sort of mindset is very, very important rather than distracting our mind. So, if a currency is stronger than the others, does not create a greater potency for the crosses. Yes, okay, fine. Let me just go back to that of the PowerPoint presentation. The forecast for today. Japanese session swing and firm up will find subdued moves here. They are not breached the low or the high excepting USD yen wherein they breached the high and we have to see how exactly they are taking it around 7 GMT. They will firm up and then swing and during the European session, especially from the mid-European session, I am expecting an upward spike or a quick rise. Then afterwards, a high level swing or a little bit of volatile move during the start of the US session. Then further firming up moves. And keep in mind that this beginning and last week you might be remembering that instead of doing week beginning falls during the Japanese session, the week beginning falls move, they did the week beginning falls move during that of the US session. And today they are not expected to make a week beginning false move during the US session, but they are expected to make a little bit of volatile moves, but don't be afraid of it. And they are all position taking levels and later on they are expected to firm up and tomorrow again they are expected to make volatile move to start with and then subsequently spike up from that of the European session and month end will come across very aggressive gains in the case of Euro and GBP as well as USD and on 30th. Then first and second, on first there could be a false move for the month beginning and then subsequently on second when the non-farm payroll is being announced, they were expected to make little bit of volatile move and they may not give any clue whether the market is going to rise or drop and from 5th onwards they are expected to flare up the market on the upside. So these are all the expected market moves and the initial highs and the lows I have shown it and you can make a note of it. This webinar is being recorded and you can listen to it later on during the day. And if there are any questions, you can post it in the blog. I am willing to answer to those market related questions. So take this opportunity to thank everybody who have come here to listen to my talk and FX Trade for this opportunity for me to express and serve the people. And anyone wanted to contact me, you can contact me dr@iknowindustries.com or through my MSN messenger iknowindustries@hotmail.com. Willing to help without expecting any reward. Thank you. See you again.